Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we explore the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Milan Kohut, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced, the lessons learned, and the strategies fueling future growth. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by Thomas Richman, known as the Sales Bull. He's a seasoned salesman with over 15 years of experience in both B2C and B2B sales. He focuses on helping people close more deals and avoid wasting leads, sharing practical sales insights through his Substack and social media presence. Thomas's mission is to empower sales professionals to achieve success with effective strategies and a no-nonsense approach. With that being said, Thomas, let me officially welcome you to Founders Future.
Thank you very much.
I'm excited to have you, man. Let's dive in. With every single one of my guests, what I like to do is take it back in time. So please go ahead and do the same thing. Take us back in time before you even had your company. What were you doing before? What were you up to? And then eventually, just what motivated you to start a business?
I'm currently a partner in a business. It's a joint venture between myself and the LionGlass, Mrasas, who you might have heard of on Instagram. He's on Twitter as well, but he's a very big presence, one of the largest and the fastest growing Instagram accounts in the UK and really the world for an individual creator. So what we've done is we've created this thing called the Lion's Den. And it is a sales training platform, as well as a network, a knowledge base. We hold live events. It's really a place for everybody in the sales and online money space to come and be part of a community. So there's plenty of knowledge and training in there. Everyone that joins us get better at whatever it is they want to do, be that social media, be that a corporate sales career or in the high ticket space. And it's about, as you and I were saying earlier, really treating it professionally and going, right, this is an amazing space, the online space. There's so many people making so much money and you don't want to fumble it. And if you treat it like a proper career, you can have an amazing life. You can really unlock yourself and everything else. So that's why the Lion's Den exists. Before that, I was scaling a company called Voltic, which is a very large, I'd like to think so, a very large marketing company, which works exclusively with coaches, again, in the online space. We're actually I don't know if I should say this, we were actually a competitor of Closers.io. I think we took a few clients off each other at the time. And that was very good fun building that brand. And I've been involved in the online space for around about 5 years now. Before that, I had a corporate career doing a few different things. I scaled a soil company, of all things. Exactly. Hey,
Soil company.
A lot of people buy soil, mate. Yeah. Someone's got to wholesale it. So I did that. And I worked for MedTech and a few other areas as well, including FMCG. I walked away from corporate career in my late 20s when I found the online space.
Yeah, man, you've done a lot. But that's good. Everything that you've been through just helped building the right fundamentals and allowing you basically to become who you are now. So that's amazing, dude. What a lovely journey. Now, if we're going to talk a little bit more about the current business and the venture that you're a part of, what we're trying to do here is understand pretty much everything from who is your absolute ideal potential customer, what is the core offerings that you guys have in place, what it looks like to work with you on a day-to-day basis. The way I love to put it is very simple. Tell us exactly who do you help and what do you help them with?
Fantastic, good stuff. The people that we help are people looking to unlock their lives and make the most of the digital age. And that comes in a lot of format. Maybe it's somebody who's got a corporate job and they just want to get better at sales. Absolutely, they're going to have a fantastic experience with the Lion's Den. Maybe you're someone who just wants to utilize social media to make a couple of grand a month on the side. You're going to find a place as well. Maybe you're somebody who's a business owner or in the high ticket space where things are a little bit more unstructured. And what you're looking for is that structure to your day, to your life, where you can be a bit more regimented, be held a little bit more accountable. All of those people are going to find a home in the Lion's Den. And what we do for them is provide that training and provide that structure with whatever it is they want to do. We can train them up in social media and how to start a brand online, whether they're trying to make a huge 6-figure brand or whether they just want to make a grand a month in side income. Okay. It really doesn't matter. Anywhere on that scale, someone's going to find a home. We have what I think is the best sales training in the world, delivered between the LionGlass and myself. We have daily huddles, we have weekly live calls, and really just creating a very supportive environment on top of the community that we're building, where people can just come in and find a home. Very like-minded people. Everyone's on the same sort of page. It can be very difficult if you're a high performer or somebody on the path to becoming a high performer. It can be very isolating. So what we've done is create a home for these people.
I love that, Ben. And I know that over the years, obviously, the vision is changing for every single business in the game, right? And I know that you guys are heavily focused on the sales training and being able to really create a new path for all of these people joining the community and making those life-changing decisions. But aside from focusing on the sales, could you maybe give our listeners a bit more context into what is everything included in the offer? What is the process? What is the cadence? And what the client basically can expect. So let's say that I was the client who's getting onboarded, and you want to give me the best kind of clarity of what I'm going to experience in the upcoming months.
100%. So the first thing that's going to happen is you'll be part of a WhatsApp group. And this really is the nexus of where it all happens. That's where you're going to make friends, find a community, and there's some great chats in there. People just sometimes just chat in there about whatever. People ask for help and advice with their business. And one of the thing that really gets to me quite deeply, and what I really love to see, myself and Jordan, is when people are making genuine connections in there. So we've got people starting little businesses together. We've got people just helping each other out, quid pro quo, consultancy, etc. That's the sort of thing that we love and we want to see. Getting inside that community is the most important thing. So if you joined, you and I would have a sit down, and the first thing I do is make sure that you're a member of that group. I then walk you through the actual university itself, which is online. It's a WhatsApp group, and there's over 35 hours of training with multiple hours added every single week as well. And that takes you anywhere from basic how to book calls as an appointment setter for day one in sales, all the way to quite advanced negotiation tactics. Jordan, if you don't know about the LionGlass, this guy has literally closed over 3 billion in corporate deals, and he really breaks down the process that he used to do that. So there's starter sales, very high level stuff, and everything in between. There's also plenty of information there on social media, growth, mindset, family, etc. as well, because that's a big part of it as well. A lot of the people that we work with are very aligned. Okay, people want a family, they want to escape, they want freedom, and there's advice on how to do all of that. So we'd sit down, come up with a bit of a plan for you, what you're going to focus on, because there's much more information there you can take in a month. We'd also make sure that you'd be attending as many as you can the daily huddles that we run. So every day at 12:30, we run a daily huddle, and these are very important. So yes, these are value. Okay, we give a lot of information away in here. It's a full learning process every single day. But more than that, again, it's structured to people's lives. And that's something that I really enjoy seeing. Other people who are in remote sales roles, maybe in the high ticket space, not everything's as structured as I believe that it should be. And these people can have a stand-up essentially every day at 12:30. So everyone can bring their daily wins. If there's something that they're struggling with, they can put their hand up and we go around the room. People help each other. Obviously, Jordan and I help people as well. And that's a really key part of it. And then on top of all of that, we also have the live events, usually twice a week as well. So these could take the form of essentially a long form lecture, but again, very interactive. So I literally just before this podcast, I was delivering a live event, which went on for over an hour and a half actually, on how to set up a basic web funnel for people to monetize their social media. So there's always something going on, and the more people get involved, the more they're going to get out of it.
Absolutely, man. And I would also like to mention, and maybe this is for some people, some of our listeners who are considering maybe getting into sales. I love the fact that what you've mentioned is basically creating an environment where there's several components that you put together, right? And I think that also in this industry, having that sense of belonging to something bigger than just ourselves and having that sense of community and somebody who can maybe join us through these ventures, that's really important, right? So it's not going to come down to just the sales training that everybody goes through, but I love that, man. Now, when it comes to the back end side of the business for a second, what are you guys currently doing from marketing/lead generation standpoint to actually bring in new clients and eventually have a bigger impact?
Of course. So we've got some very advanced plans for this. So we're still in the early stages. We've got 150 members, and this is going to have thousands in it. We're just in the early stages of it. So at the moment, it's very organic. And most of the people come through Jordan's Instagram, okay? Because again, and we've done that very deliberately because we want people to come in who are aligned. And it's about getting not the right sort of person in terms of a certain point in their career, because we can help anybody, but the right sort of person in terms of mindset and attitude. We recently launched an affiliate program so people can recommend friends, family, etc. that wants to come in. It's actually one of the most generous affiliate programs in the online space, 50% lifetime recurring, which is very generous. Again, we've done that for a reason, to make it easy for people to cover their own membership for one, and to bring in friends and family who can then recommend friends and family. Eventually, we will be running ads and funnels for this, and we've got all that in place. My background, I've run hundreds of thousands of dollars of ads, probably more than that. Designed funnels, worked with total ad spend that I've been consulting on for the companies I consulted on is probably in the millions. But we're not going to do that yet. It's about growing in the right way. And then when we do start that, believe me, it's gonna bang. But it's all about making sure that solid core fan, and then anyone who's running a group like this, any sort of membership group, this is how you should do it. Make sure that core membership is aligned with you. Then when you open up the doors a little bit more, start bringing people in through paid ads, etc., and wider facing funnels, they're going to come in and they're going to see a happy, engaged membership. And that's how you create that stickiness, which A, is lovely to see, but also is really how you value it as a business.
Yeah. And I would definitely say that this is a great advice, because obviously you see this every day. People in businesses, especially those just starting and trying to create some fundamentals and basics for them and just make a living. It's quite easy to ignore the fact that, oh, yeah, maybe this person that I just onboarded, it's not really a great fit, but they paid, right? Which is good short term because, yeah, revenue wise, you're making money, but at the same time, it's not going to serve you well from long term perspective. I'm glad you mentioned that, man. I appreciate that. Awesome. Thomas, when it comes to being active on social media, growing the organic side, obviously there's a million tasks that you guys have to do both on the marketing and sales side, right? Are you already at that point where you guys developed your own internal teams for both departments, or what is the outcome of that?
No, so this is one of the amazing things about my business partner, Jordan, is he's got this, it is the fastest growing Instagram in the UK and one of the fastest individual brands in the world. He does this all himself. Absolutely all himself.
Wow.
Yep. No one knows his account password and no one ever will. This guy doesn't just run the Instagram himself, he does all of the editing, he does all the filming. It is a complete solo effort, and he actually teaches that in the Lion's Den himself. And actually, last night we had an event where we were just a group of us were just sat and watching him make reels, which was good fun, and seeing the process behind that. And that's a key part of this as well, is seeing how to run it yourself. Because yes, you can go and get tutors and stuff to make it for you, but it's going to lack that authenticity. And that's a big part of what we're trying to push as a brand, obviously, to get the right people in. It's a big part of what we're trying to encourage other people who are looking to set up a brand to do as well. Because that authenticity is going to be so important, mate. Because I tell you what, this time next year, SORA 3 is going to be out, and you're not going to know what's real or fake anymore in terms of the
True.
quality. And the only way that you will be able to tell the difference is the authenticity of what's coming through and that human feeling. So farming everything out to some guy on Fiverr will make reels for you, it's just not ever going to work. And it's the same. Obviously, my Twitter is on a much smaller scale to Jordan's Instagram. He's got almost 100,000 followers. I think I've got about 10 on my Twitter. It's not the same scale. But again, I would never let anyone create content for that. It has to be organic. And that's what we push to our members as well. Our members are starting to bring in more and more members. It's starting to pick up a lot of pace now with the affiliate scheme. And again, it's what we're telling them. It's, hey, look, we can't stop you from going and get somebody on Fiverr to go and make a load of content and bang it out and put your link on in the bio. I suppose it's something stopping you doing that, but you're going to have much more success with that authenticity. That is the future of social media, is authenticity. Because I could sit, just in the time we've had this conversation, mate, I could have made about 20 reels using CapCut AI Maker and bunged them onto 50 different accounts. I literally could have done that in the last 20 minutes. It doesn't really work now, and it's not going to work in the future either.
Yeah, man. This is true. And also, it's funny to me how maybe just a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, we were all just starting to realize how much capability there actually is when it comes to AI. And a lot of people are just like, oh, that's cool. That's awesome, right? But now we're getting to this point. If you're in business, ignoring what's going on with AI, that could bite you in the ass real quick. You're either going to pivot and you're going to find how do I even put it? Be able to adapt to what's going on in the world of AI, or you're not going to end well.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think the world is increasingly starting to dovetail between the people that you remember a couple of years ago when it's, oh, look at this thing, it makes recipes for cake and it says to put soil in it because it's stupid and wrong, and hey, look, it generates the guy with 6 fingers. Oh my gosh, 95% of people never used AI or used it once and decided it was rubbish, and the 5% of us that went, hey, look, there's something here, I'm going to spend a bit of time with this. We're going to have very different futures and increasingly having different presence as well. Just a couple of years ago, while everyone was mocking AI for being rubbish, I was using it to completely power a marketing agency, and I know lots of other people were doing the same. So we had hugely reduced costs because we didn't need as many people because we were AI powered, and people are waking up to that. But with any technology, when it's new, people will inevitably use it in the wrong way. And yeah, we can also, if you look on LinkedIn, people talk about Facebook slop, but look at LinkedIn. The amount of slop in that's just pure AI generated, and no one's making money off that. No one's making money off that. But then there's, I know some of these people personally, little Twitter and Instagram accounts that are authentic that have got 300 followers. And yeah, do you know what I mean? They're not raising an IPO, but they're making a few $100, a few $1,000s on the side, and that's a very accessible future. There will always be the founders that see AI and social media and can turn it into a huge multi-million beyond brand. But I think that's the real democratization of advertising, because it used to be the case that to sell your personal training services or whatever it was, or your coaching services, there was a big barrier to entry. You had to put a few £100 down for a newspaper advertisement or on the side of a bus or something. And the real democratization of this process is that now all you need to do is put some time and effort in, and then you can get out there on social media and be, even a crappy reel has 300 views if it's made decent. And then if you do 10 of those, you get 3,000 views. That used to cost you a lot of money, and there's a huge barrier to entry to that. Now anyone can do it with a phone, and that's what I love about it. Some people will smash it and make careers. Some people will make £500 a month on the side, and you know what? That's a very decent result as well.
Yeah, there is just too much opportunity on the table, man. So at this point, I can confidently say that it would be quite stupid to ignore that. Yeah, man, that's what it is. Thomas, thank you for providing your perspective on that. I find this very interesting. So I could be probably talking about this for the next hour, but we don't have really time to do that. But I'm going to switch to the last part of the episode that I wanted to cover, which is the future of your guys' company, right? So if you think about, let's say, the next 12 months, what would you say are like the biggest goals, targets, revenue, milestones that you guys have set for yourselves?
So the Lion's Den doesn't really have a cap on it. We're intending to add thousands of members, going up to 10,000 members, going up to beyond. One of the things that we are and again, this is advice as well as a look into what we're doing. The worst thing that can kill an online business is scale. And I've seen this so many times. And do you know what? Marketing a business is actually pretty easy. And if you learn how to use Facebook ads, if you learn meta ads and learn how to build a funnel, you're never going to have any problem finding clients. So the difficulty comes in scaling any sort of business that has client contact, which obviously ours does. So it's very much a case of building it as quickly as we can while keeping that quality there. And the Lion's Den is going to take over. This brand is already pretty big. The brand is bigger than we're allowing the group to be, essentially. Because we're keeping that quality so high, which is the right thing to do. But within a year, it's going to be very large. And then there's really no stopping this. And people love to talk about the real world and the war room and that sort of model. And that exists for a certain type of person. But we believe that we've built something which can keep that popularity and that perhaps same mission, but a much more accessible, perhaps less controversial way of doing it.
I love that, man. Awesome. Now, Thomas, I'm going to ask you my last question before we wrap this up. And this is actually one of my favorite ever. Obviously, at this point, you've been in business for many years, right? If you could travel back in time and sit across the table from your younger self, maybe even yourself at the very beginning of your journey as an entrepreneur, what would be the best piece of advice that you would give yourself?
That's a very good question. It's one I should probably ask myself more often. I'm not entirely sure, because I'm very happy with the path that I've been on, the path that I'm now. And quite frankly, I wouldn't want to go back and tell myself to change that, because I wouldn't want to take any risk of not being where I am right now with the people around me. If I was going to give advice to somebody at the same stage as me, it would be to lock onto a certain task, lock onto a certain thing, because that's a mistake that Again, I wouldn't change anything, but that's a mistake I made in my career, especially early on with shiny object syndrome and moving from one thing to another. Pick a plan and have a solid 5 years to get to it and map out, and then don't deviate from that. Obviously, things will happen that you might have to move around, but you need to know what you actually want, because when you don't know what you want, then you're at risk of shiny object syndrome. Pick a goal.
Man, so many people struggle with this. The grass is greener on the other side. All that counts.
Yeah, the grass is greener thing. And I fell for it in the corporate world. And that prevented me from locking in. And my early career is quite scrappy because I was moving every year or so because the grass is greener. Whereas actually, if you just lock into one thing and just give yourself a few years to achieve greatness in one particular area, it makes the rest of your life much easier.
I would agree, man. 100%. Thomas, thank you for that advice. I definitely agree with that. And with this pretty much wraps up another very insightful episode of Founders Future. So I just want to say thanks for taking the time today, sharing the story with the listeners, with me. And if somebody wanted to reach out, connect, maybe even be a part of what you guys have going on, what is the best way to get in contact with you?
100%. So the key tags to follow would be @thesalesball1 on Twitter, @thesalesball on Instagram, and @LionGlass on Instagram. That's obviously Jordan's account. Huge reach on there. Bloody good account, I must say. So everyone should check that out. And then from there, you will find the lines there.
Love it, man. Awesome. Thanks for that. Now, to our listeners, if today's conversation inspired you as well, make sure to subscribe to Founders Future on your favorite platform. And also, if you're a business owner, more specifically a consultant, agency owner, or a coach, and you're looking to scale your business and really enhance both your sales and marketing efforts, also visit closers.io, get in touch with our team, and discover how exactly we took our company from 0 to over 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on crushing it, and I'll see you on the next one.